Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike O'Reilly, the chairman of the Town of Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission. Welcome to the regular meeting for November the 6th, 2025. It is 7 p.m. If you'll please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Dominic Smerglino, alternate commissioner.
Dominic Panicia, alternate commissioner.
Brian Codman, Commissioner.
Leanne Ambrosi, Commissioner.
Bruno Maini, Commissioner.
Robert Westland, commissioner.
Nicole Lupo, alternate commissioner.
Thomas Noonan, zoning enforcement officer.
Phil Holsworth, Director of Economic and Community Development.
Okay. Anyone online? No. All right, then you want to make a motion to change the agenda, addition to the agenda?
Yeah. I make a motion to change the agenda to add an addition to extension request for excavation and filling permit, PC application number EFP 2021-02, file 106, 10 and 36 Main Street.
All right, I have a motion to amend the agenda.
And I'll second it.
Motion and a second to put that on the agenda.
Seconded it?
Other business.
Ryan, second.
No, we'll put it after the public
Well,
hearing.
we have to vote on the motion, right?
Right. Later.
No, motion to put it on the, we have to vote now to put it on the agenda.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll call the roll on the addition to the agenda, starting on my right.
Condon, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Maini, yes.
Westland, yes.
So we're going to add that to the after public hearings. We'll start with general public participation. If anyone's here to address the commission on an issue that's not on the agenda tonight, this is the time to do that. That is, anyone that would like to address the commission on items not on the agenda, please raise your hand. Anyone here? No one here. Anyone online? No one online, then we'll move along. First public hearing, SP 2025, which is 1536 and 1564 Monroe Turnpike. Okay. All right. Commissioner Ambrosi has recused himself in this. Do we have further exhibits?
We do, Mr. Chair. We have exhibits number 42 through 50. 42 through 54. So bear with me for a moment. Exhibit number 42 dated 10/16/25, Peggy Lamont letter. Exhibit number 43 dated 10/16/25, the Johnston letter. Exhibit number 44 dated 10/16/25, it's a neighbor letter. Exhibit number 45, it's 10/15/25 received the B. Abbott letter. Exhibit number 46 received 10/16/25, it's a timeline agreement from Attorney Russo. Exhibit number 47, it's a neighbor email, and that was received 10/21. Exhibit 48 received 10/23/25, draft drainage easement from Attorney Chris Russo. Exhibit number 49, a neighbor letter received 10/28/25. Exhibit number 50, it's the Jelly email and DOT attachments received 11/5/25. Exhibit number 51, Paula Jelly letter, and that was received 11/5/25. Exhibit number 52 received 11/5/25. Email regarding owner to Paula Jelly, that was from Thomas Noonan. Exhibit number 53 received 11, I don't know what date that is. 15?
15.
Okay, 11/15/25, it's a swale letter from Paula Jelly. Exhibit number 54, it received 11/16/25. Letter of extension from Attorney Chris Russo, and that was received today, 11/6/25.
Okay.
All right, just let the record show Nicole Lupo's up for being seated during this.
Okay. Commissioner Lupo will be seated. We have a contract, I believe, to vote on accepting for review of the hydrologist findings. It's in your packet, I believe. It's the Titan Bond scope of services, correct?
I'll make a motion to accept the proposal for engineering services and scope of service as drafted.
Okay, I have a nomination. Do I have a second?
Second.
Let's do any discussion. Kathleen explained what we were looking for before she left.
This is the company that's doing it, or who's the person that's doing it?
I do not know the name of the individual at the organization that was going to be doing it. We did reach out to several different firms to find one. Some firms did not have the qualifications we were seeking. Some didn't have the time to meet our timeframes. Some had conflicts of interest, so they've all been excluded. This was the only one that we found that met all of our criteria.
Any other discussion? If not, then I'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Condon, yes?
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayne, yes. Westland, yes.
Lupo, yes.
Okay, so we have accepted the scope of services for Titan Bond. We're going to go ahead to general public not general, we're going to go ahead to public participation.
Thomas has a question.
Yeah, just one point of clarification before we move on. For subdivision 2025-04 for 1536, 1564. I wrote a zoning officer report on March 13th of 2025 regarding any type of violations or compliance with zoning regulations. Originally, I wrote that the owner of record at the time was John Mangieri of 221 Ocean Grand Boulevard, Jupiter, Florida. The current owner of record is Jan's Land Development LLC located at 145 Cutler's Farm Road here in Monroe, Connecticut. That's all.
I will let the record show that correction. So anyone here that would like to speak on this application tonight, please come up forward. Please give us your name and address, sign in. And please address the commission.
My name is Paula Jelly. I live at 290 Cottage Street. 1564 surrounds me on 3 sides. What is the process of just a regular subdivision? We're going through the motions for a cluster. What is different about just a regular subdivision? If you could explain that, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions here tonight or comments from the public? Anyone online? If you have a question online or a comment, please press the raise my hand button. Mark Lamont. Can you allow Mark Lamont to?
You're allowing Mark to speak. He should be able to speak now. Talking permitted.
Mr. Lamont, go ahead.
Mark, it looks like you're muted. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Okay, there we go. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I joined a bit late. So is this the public hearing or is this the general comment section?
This is a public hearing.
Okay, so for 1536, 1564?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, then I do have something I'd like to enter into the process.
Go ahead.
So my name's, again, my name's Mark Lamont. I've lived at 51 Downs Road for 27 years. And I'm going to ask everybody to bear with me because at this point, I'm very frustrated with the process, some of the developments as I perceive them to be. And, it's been going on for 2 years. So I ask for some leniency and please to hear me out. So my first point is 20 years or so ago, 20 years, yeah, 20 years ago, a significant section of the property in question had an application before the town for 4 homes. It was denied, but approved for 2 homes. And from what I understand about the layout of the property and the land, that what we're talking about, what was approved for 2 homes is basically the same footprint as what we're talking about today for 8 homes, more or less. And that doesn't include the wetlands or the cliff area, which comprises what's being referred to as the 57.8% of the now 30-acre parcel of what's open space. So I'm talking about not that 57.8%, I'm talking about the rest of the property been previously approved for 2 homes. So I'm asking a rhetorical question. What has changed about the nature of the property that now allows or is being considered to allow 8 homes on the same footprint? Why was this subdivision not submitted as a regular subdivision with 2-acre zoning? And it's my opinion, but logic tells me it's because it's not developable as a conventional 8-home subdivision. So it couldn't work without the variance. I come back to the water issue that's been discussed now for the last 2 or 3 public hearings. And I'm not an expert, but I'm an outdoorsman and I have a fairly good understanding of how ecosystems work. It's my background. I went to school for it at the University of Vermont. The developers, I'm going to repeat myself a little bit from some previous statements. The developers, hydrogeologists, made assessments and a report based on old incomplete data and reports and quoted a lot of generalized statistics about groundwater recharging and so forth. And those statistics could pertain to almost anywhere. There was no new scientific testing. And what I've done some research since all of this. There are advanced techniques that can be used to model subsurface water systems, which would be perfect for this. Admittedly, they come with expense, and I don't know how to execute them myself, but here's just some examples. Dyes and other kinds of tracers can be injected into the ground at a known point and then monitored for their appearance at other locations on the property. Gives you a good idea what's happening underneath the substrata that we can't see. And this technique is particularly effective for mapping underground water flow in aquifers that have interconnected underground channels and caves, which to me is the very definition of the aquifer in this property. You can also measure water level, or hydraulic head as it's called, in a network of rigged monitoring wells to allow hydrogeologists to determine the slope of the water table. Where does it go? Where does it come from? And where is it going to? There are geophysical surveys that can be used to gather information about subsurface structures without drilling. One method is called electrical resistivity imaging, which is basically an electronic MRI of the ground. But what it does, it reveals, it sends electrical currents into that aquifer and detects variations in underground electrical conductivity, which tells you where there are water saturated zones beneath the substrata, where the water is. There's also ground penetrating radar. Creates images of the subsurface by using radar impulses. My point is, at the last meeting, the discussion was, let's just have an independent review of the work that's already been done, the old reports that exist, and the assessment that was done by Jan's development expert. But without definitive studies, we just don't know. We don't know what's really there. And those studies can be done. my takeaway on that is what if disaster struck? This goes through, they start drilling wells that are not systematically or systemically linked, but chaotically drilled. And all of a sudden, 1 or 6 or a dozen houses in our neighborhood are 68 homes in our neighborhood. So a dozen homes lose their water. Who pays for that? We've all said this, but I'm reiterating it. But without confirmation of what's really there, is the development of 8 homes worth the risk of exposing 60 plus existing homes that already draw from that aquifer? Is the developer willing to post a bond to cover the expense of redrilling wells for any homes that may eventually lose their water supply? And here's the thing. I mean, this has been going on for 2 years, starting with the IWC hearings. This is what I guess is where my concerns come from. One, that the process has been going on for 2 years now, starting with the IWC hearings. I go back to Dr. Clements when he was an expert. He's got his PhD in everything that we're talking about that pertains to this property. And my takeaway is that his testimony and a lot of his input was largely dismissed, refuted, or ignored by the developer's own expert. I remember some talks about vernal pools. Clements found evidence of vernal pools. The expert refuted that, and Clements caved. He caved in on his own findings and his own testimony. And in the meantime, the property gets approved by the IWC, while Clements is calling it a special property. Secondly, if you review the IWC hearings, I think I heard about this, you'll hear that I personally brought up the water well and aquifer issue during those hearings, and no heed was given to my comments at the time, and now it's become an item of importance. And here's my concern. We have Mr. Ambrosi recusing himself due to what's apparently a conflict of interest because he has a previous stance on cluster subdivisions. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to, I'm not trying to demean anybody here. Mr. O'Reilly, a couple of hearings ago, I was standing before the commission and I made a statement, and you made the statement that this development will happen. And it just seems as the outcome of this predetermined. It's sure from my perspective, it just seems that way. And that's what makes me very uncomfortable. And then I'm just going to close by saying the commission does have the authority to deny an application if there's reasonable cause and belief that such a development is not in the public interest, does not conform, and places undue stress on water, septic, and traffic systems. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Anyone else online that would like to comment on this application or in person? Yes, come on down, give your name and address.
Michelle Saltisiak, 237 Cottage Street. So I do have a lot of the same types of questions. I'm going to try and keep this brief. I know you guys have only been in half of these. We've been in all these for IWC also. I do want to ask if zoning has changed for that property since it was originally approved almost 20 years ago, or around 20 years ago, where they said no to 4, yes to 2. Has zoning, does anybody know offhand, if zoning had changed on that property over those years, where that's why we're allowed to now consider more homes? So that's one question I have. I get everybody has a right to build on property if it's buildable. I agree with that. I understand that. I don't have to like it. I understand it. It's legal. My concern, like everybody else, is you've got reports on how the topsoil is tilled. They have to go to bedrock. Hydrogeologists themselves said, we've got to go way down. It's not in the soil. It's not in the undersoils. It's in the bedrock. I know we're going to potentially get someone else to look at this, which I appreciate. I still contend that figures can't possibly be right, and they were general statistics, like Mr. Mott just said. There's no way with evaporation, the statistics on how much water is actually used that goes to outside sources, your garden, washing your car, watering brand new lawns for 8 homes. That's gonna be a huge burden, especially when, based as best I can tell on the plans, unlike some other properties in town that have opted to leave some of the older trees, it looks like they're pretty much having to clear cut everything, which means we're gonna have more evaporation, more sun, we're gonna have 8 brand new lawns getting watered. That scares the piss out of me, for lack of a more PC term, sorry. I've had it go dry twice before and once this year. I only bought my house in July of 2019. In 6 years, we've had 3 really dry years, and every year it goes dry no matter how conscientious I am. It is what it is. So, you know, I have the same question as Paula as to if they did a regular subdivision there with their 2-acre zoning minimum, based on where they are allowed to build to the wetlands. Would that at least potentially reduce the number of homes, which would appease neighbors potentially, put less impact on the environment, at the same time allow the owner who has a right potentially to build and kind of find a happy medium? I feel like all we keep doing is finding ways to just build. We improve everything in general. I'm not saying this group, like in general for Monroe, to the point where we don't know where we're putting all our students anymore. And it's great that we have all the extra tax revenues, what we're told on all these homes and, you know, permits, and that's great. But now it's gonna cost us more than that probably to fix up this school, and all its utilities and everything else. So it is very cyclical, and I'm hoping you guys can not only take into account, yes, they have a right to build, but we have a right to our enjoyment of the properties that we currently own there. And doing something that's an exception to allow somebody to make more money to impact my quality of life where I actually live is really hard for me to swallow. I guess somebody wants to max it out and make as much as they possibly can, as long as it's legal and you guys approve it. But I just want everybody to consider the little guys that live there too, please. Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else here or online that would like to comment on this application?
We do have one person online raising their hand.
Go ahead with the.
Kelly, you are able to speak. You need to unmute
Okay.
yourself. Perfect.
Yes, I could hear you.
Okay, my name is Kelly Hengis Carano. I'm at 19 Shoals Road in Monroe. I live about a block away from the development. And I would like Mr. O'Reilly to be recused if Mr. Leon Ambrosi is recused, because a person does not have a right to build on an unbuildable lot. And that was incorrect. If it is deemed unbuildable because it doesn't perk or for whatever other reason, people do have a right to build on a buildable lot. And I also would like, I know that Kathleen is on maternity leave, but I had made a comment at the last meeting about, you know, let's do this completely without the special exemption that was applied to this property in the subcommittee meeting to allow public water to not be utilized. I would like to, she actually said that I was incorrect, that there were no special exemptions at the end of the meeting, which was completely incorrect as well. There was a special exemption in August of last year. So it's very difficult. It's almost like fish stinks from the head down at this point. We've been fighting this for 2 years. And if Mr. O'Reilly is going to stand up and say that he has a right to build on his lot, then heck, I guess we don't need zoning anymore. So those are my comments, and I really hope that you think thoughtfully through this. And I would also like to see about a $2 million bond from the builder, from the developer, in case all of us need new wells as a result of this. There's 68 homes here that we pay taxes, and the fact that we're being forsaken for the possibility of 8 McMansions being built around a fire pond. I have an issue with that. I've been a Monroe resident for 20 years. My husband has lived here since he was a child. And I think it really shows that Monroe is very pro-build and who cares what everyone else thinks. So that's all I have to say, and good luck, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other comments online or in person? Can you just speak?
I'd just like to ask everybody to have the respect that we do and not openly talk about.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else has a comment online or in person?
We do have one more hand raised online.
Okay.
Donna, you need to unmute and you could speak.
Yeah, so I kind of said some of this last time at the meeting, but I just wanted to.
Can you please state your name for the record?
I'm sorry.
Address, please.
26 Manor Drive.
You get that? Go ahead.
Okay. At the last meeting, I had mentioned that the hydrogeologist at the September meeting had mentioned that if anybody has a deep well uphill of the proposed development, that their well could be affected by this development going in. And I had stated that that was about an hour, and I don't remember, it was 25 or 35 minutes into that meeting, the early, I think it's September 4th meeting. So just in that statement alone, she had stated that people can have an issue with their wells with this development going in. So I'm kind of confused why everyone thinks it's okay when she literally made that statement. And when we have it recorded, we can all go listen to it. So I'm a little bit confused about that. Also, kind of going back to, you know, if this does get approved, again, who's going to be held responsible? Who can we go after? I've never had an issue with my well. I've been here 30 years. Therefore, if I do start having an issue all of a sudden, if this development gets approved, it's going to make me think that that's the reason for it. And I can pretty much be assured that that's what it is. So I just don't want it to come to that. I agree that the developer, if it does get approved, should be required to post a substantial bond to cover any issues that possibly could come up. Yes, you do. We do all have a right to build on the property. I agree with that as well. However, that is if the property is buildable. When the developer purchased the property, it was in 2025. And this had already been going on for quite a while. So there was no guarantee that this was going to all be approved. So I think that was kind of a risk that he took by going ahead and purchasing it before he knew for sure if it was buildable. So that's kind of all that I wanted to add. So again, my big thing is she did say that people uphill could have a problem if they have a deep well. So I don't know why we're still kind of on this issue. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else online that would like to comment on this application? Anyone here in person that would like to comment on this application that hasn't already been heard? Seeing none, we'll move along. I can just answer some of the questions. One of the speakers said that he felt this was a predetermined conclusion. I would just say if that were true, we wouldn't be here 2 years later still talking about this application. We're here to make sure that this application conforms to the rules and regulations of the Town of Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission. That's what we're here to do. The scope of services in the review of the hydrogeologist states that they will make sure that the conclusions are technically sound and sufficiently supported. Therefore, if they feel there are any other special studies that should be done, I would assume they'll bring them to our attention and to your attention when they appear here and report. That's about it. Do you have anything else, Thomas, or?
Just a clarification for the cluster subdivisions. It's basically just land development technique that groups homes and buildings closer together on a portion of the site, allowing for a modification to a regular subdivision which also provides for the opportunity for open space. So just more homes closer together compared to a regular subdivision where you would need to adhere to an RF1 setback regulation or RF2 setback standards.
Yes, the cluster subdivision is a fairly new standard that we've adopted in town that is meant to be more environmentally friendly for the people of the town and the neighbors to, instead of spread out a number of houses over the whole property, to condense the size of the developed property so that more land can be left for open space and so that there will be less impervious surfaces. It's generally accepted nationwide as to be an environmentally friendly approach to development.
And this property was previously approved years ago for a regular subdivision, correct? I don't know if you have that in front of you, but
I wasn't here at
it
that.
was alluded to by some of the speakers. And, you know, at that point, you would deem that the lot was determined to be buildable at that point. So just to add on, when Commissioner Riley last meeting said this lot will be developed, he didn't say necessarily this project will be developed because he hasn't voted on that yet, but he was alluding to the fact that the property could be developed. Commissioner Ambrosi chose to recuse himself. It is up to every member up here to decide if they have some preconceived notion or bias to recuse themselves. And nobody else has voiced that concern. So I'd like that to just be in the record that I don't think that needs to happen.
Okay, thank you. I don't believe that the applicant is here tonight. So then we will continue this hearing until our next meeting. Is that correct?
Yes.
That will be,
Will we have the report back by then?
The report is expected to be provided to us within 2 to 3 weeks after the contract is executed. Tonight, the P and Z Commission is approving the scope of that contract. On Monday night, that same contract will go before town council that will authorize or not for selectmen to enter into that contract. Hopefully, they approve it. Tuesday morning, I'll collect that signature. I'll get it back to Pie and Bond, and they'll begin working. Whether they make that 2-week or the 3-week timeframe, the 11/20 date is kind of a tight ask. We're going to push for that, but I can't guarantee it tonight.
Well, it's tentative. We won't put it on the agenda if it's not back.
Fair. And then we'll do it the first meeting in December.
Only meeting in December.
Okay.
Yeah, if we don't have that report, there's no reason to.
If we don't have the report, we'll need to get an additional extension because I think there's an extension for this to extend it out to that 11/20 date. Because we have used up the 35 days.
thank you. All right, then we'll move on to SCP 2021-13-A1, which is 571, 587 Pepper Street. And we have the,
In accordance with CGS 8-7D, a public hearing will be held on Thursday, November 6th at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter via hybrid Zoom meeting. And in-person attendees located at Monroe Town Hall. SCP 2021-13A1, file 1638, 571, and 587 Pepper Street. Application for permit approval. Oh, yeah, we got it. Application for permit approval, amendment, modification to reduce size to the approved warehouse footprint with a proposed 10-foot wide separation between the buildings, in addition to a revision in the septic system design to accommodate the building separation. Neighbor Properties LLC applicant, Mary Blackburn, Solely Engineer LLC representative. Notice was published in the Connecticut Post twice, once on October 22nd and again on October 29th.
thank you, Commissioner Condon. And Thomas, can you read the exhibits? Or, sorry,
571 and 587 Pepper?
yes.
Yeah, I'll let the record show Leon Ambrosi has returned.
So exhibit number 3 received 10/22/25, the P and Z report created by Kathleen Gallagher. 10/23/25, the engineering comments from town engineer James DeMayo. Exhibit number 5 received on 10/24/25 is the Cons and Water Resources Commission, the Conservation and Water Resources Commission by Barbara Thomas. Exhibit number 6, October 28th, 25, the Health Department comments provided by Health Director Laurel Shaw. Exhibit number 7, 10/30/25. Certificate of mailing was provided by the applicant. Exhibit number 8, 10/28/25. Revised plans from Solely Engineering. And that concludes the exhibits that have been produced since our last meeting, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. And do we have anyone here from to speak to the applicant on this project?
We do. Mary Blackburn is with us via Zoom. She is permitted to talk. Mary, do you need to share your screen?
Yes, good evening. I would like to share my screen if I can. I don't think I have that ability yet.
Sure. I will promote you to a panelist and then to a co-host, and you should be able to share after that. You need to accept being promoted to a panelist. Perfect.
Okay.
And then let me make you a co-host, and that will allow you to share your screen. You should be all set.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. For the record, my name is Mary Blackburn. I am a professional landscape architect in the state of Connecticut with Solely Engineering, offices here in Monroe at 501 Main Street. I will share my screen here. Okay. Yes, so we are here for a permit approval amendment modification to 571 and 587 Pepper Street. We previously received an SEP approval and inland wetlands approval back in October of 2021. So just to orient everybody, this is Main Street, here is Pepper Street. This is 571 Pepper and 587 Pepper. This was the approved site plan. We have a 22,000 square foot warehouse building and a office building. And the permit approval amendment is to propose just a reduction to the square footage and the footprint of the office building to 20,900 square feet. It would be reduced by 10 feet from 200 feet in length to 190 feet in length. As part of that reduction, the other changes that are included would be changing from 5 overhead doors to 4 overhead doors, and then just rearranging the parking to fit that new layout. The parking is reduced from 62 spaces to 61 spaces per the reduction in square footage to the warehouse building. In between the two buildings, there is now proposed a 6-foot sidewalk and a 4-foot landscape island. Also, as part of the changes, 2 double doors are added on the eastern side of the warehouse to access that sidewalk. There are no changes proposed to the office building. There are no changes proposed to the drainage, actually and there's no increase in impervious coverage. You can see the difference. No changes as part of the permit modification at this time. The utility plan is being revised just to provide service to both buildings now that they are separated, and also to provide a second septic tank and connection into the leaching field. So both buildings will have separate septic tanks and connect into the same septic field. Leaching field has been submitted to the health department, and the health department has submitted it to the Department of Public Health, and we've already received approval from the Department of Public Health. Minor changes to landscaping. An island was removed from this corner here to provide the sidewalk connection. And some of those plants were moved into the front island. We also removed 5 juniper trees due to the new septic tank and going in this area. And a fence has been added in place of those. On the lighting plan, the only change that was made was to add a wall pack fixture that's consistent with the previously proposed wall packs over the new door location between the buildings. So this was the previous floor plan, and then the new floor plan for the back office with the new door layouts. This is the previous elevation with the 5 overhead doors. And this is the new elevation with the 4 overhead doors. And again, no changes to the office are being proposed to that building. We did receive comments which were addressed and we submitted responses to. One was just a detail what changes were being proposed to the building. And then we did submit new architectural plans with a current date and signature on them from the architect. We also clarified the grading between the 2 buildings. We had previously shown a curb here, and it would actually be a flush condition. So we revised our drawings to show that and added some spot elevations to demonstrate that. And then also we have submitted here a phasing plan so that once the warehouse is constructed, that can be operational before the office building is completed. And as I'd spoken to Kathleen, as part of that, we wanted to demonstrate exactly what the plan was for which portions would be proposed to be constructed as part of phase 1. So everything on site, all site improvements would be built with the exception of the proposed office building, the sidewalk and the foundation planting in front of it, and the septic tank. So the pipes would be stubbed, all the utilities would be stubbed, and this would be seeded to stabilize it until it was constructed. With that, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mary Blackburn. We'll go to the commissioners first for questions, and we'll start down on my right.
No questions.
No questions?
No questions.
On my left.
No questions. I don't have any questions.
No questions.
Thomas or?
No questions.
Nothing to add.
I have no questions.
Well, it sounds like a pretty simple modification. As this is a public hearing, we'll go to the audience here in person first to see if there are any questions or comments that any members of the public would like to make. Please raise your hand if you have any. Seeing none in person, if anyone online would like to comment on this application, please raise your hand.
Nobody?
Nobody. Okay. Since we have no questions, we'll go back to the applicant. What would you like to do, Ms. Blackburn? Close the hearing?
Thank you. Yeah, I would like to request that the hearing be closed.
All right, hearing is hereby closed.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
All right, we have a subdivision. This is SUB 2025-08, file 1672, 83 Hattertown Road.
In accordance with CGS 8-7D, a public hearing will be held on Thursday, November 6th at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter via hybrid Zoom meeting and in-person attendees located in Monroe Town Hall. SUB 2025-08, file 1672, 83 Hattertown Road, re-subdivision application for a 2-lot re-subdivision with no associated site work of Rockledge Farms located at 83 Hattertown Road, Chase Land LLC owner, Tracy Lewis, Lewis Associates representative. Notice was published in the Connecticut Post twice, once on October 22nd and again on October 29th.
Thank you, Commissioner Condon. Bill, do we have any exhibits?
We do, Mr. Chair. We have exhibit number 2 at 10/22/25. It's the P and Z report created by Kathleen Gallagher. Exhibit 3 is the inland wetland referral letter from Andrew Brotman, received on 10/23/25. Exhibit 4, 10/23/25 is the violation review letter from Thomas Noonan, ZEO. Exhibit number 5, received 10/27/25, is the 200-foot butter list, and that was provided by the applicant. Exhibit number 6, 11/5/25, Fire Department comments from Fire Marshal William Davin. Exhibit number 7, received 11/5/25, Health Department comments received from the Director of the Health Department, Laurel Shaw. Exhibit number 8, 11/5/25, engineering comments from the town engineer of James DeMayo. And that completes all exhibits, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Holdsworth. And for the applicant, we have,
It's Tracy Lewis. I'm a licensed land surveyor. My offices are here in Monroe, 260 Main Street, representing the Chase Trust family at 83 Hattertown Road. Some paperwork, the receipts for the mailings. Also the Department of Public Health receipt, the mailing, and the aquarium.
Thank you.
And I have a disc here. Can I get this on there? Or?
Yeah, what do we have for?
I put it in this order. Okay. So I can just click on these? Yeah. They don't shoot you. Oh, I'll have to share to the screen too. Sheet 2. Close. This is a subdivision map. Parcel is 23.5 acres on Hattertown Road. So a little west of Stanley Road. There's some residential homes along Hattertown Road. The family members, we have Clinton and Catherine here tonight. Clinton lives at 99 adjacent to the farm. And Catherine lives in the home that's on the lot we're proposing, lot 2, which is at 83 Hattertown. Another family member, Millicent, lives at 139 Hattertown Road. And we are proposing to revise Millicent's line so she gains a little more land We've shown that on the plan as a lot line revision to get that all together. It's not an additional lot. It's going to just be merged with her existing land. And we added to hers a couple of acres, 2.6 acres. So she'll have a total of 5.2. And then the main crux of it is around the existing farm. Can I point on this, or?
You could use a mouse to point, yeah.
The mouse should be able to
I
point.
have a pointer as well.
Yeah, you could, yeah, that's probably better.
So the farmhouses are here. We've called this lot 2.
You can zoom in a little.
Yeah,
so
we
we can see it.
can't see it. To that right side there. This would be Millicent's lot. This is the former lot line. And this would be the new lot line. So this kind of trapezoidal or odd-shaped piece would be transferred to Millicent and merged. This subdivision was done in 2004. We divided out lot 1 went to Millicent, and the remaining land is what I'm going to show you. So if we could slide that over. Okay, and this is the land at lot 2 that's going to be transferred to Gatlin. This is the existing associated buildings that are on that lot, and they're all on the lot. There's no other buildings on the remaining land. We call this remaining land. It's 13.5 acres. And Catherine will get 5.2 acres. We have reserved an easement of access for whether access for farming or for a future lot. We've reserved a 25-foot on that side of that property to the family. There's a small strip, we reserved a small strip here just to keep them all connected. This could be a future lot someday. It could be a future lot here, it could be a future lot here. What we proposed is on the remaining land as per your regulations to show that we could get a house on here. We have no intention, they have no intention of building on the property. There's nothing, no improvements that we're showing here. They all exist. Have always existed for a long time. You go to sheet 3. We've done perk tests, depot tests on the property. Slide that down. We've demonstrated a house, driveway, septic system. They don't intend to build this, but we've been asked to make sure that we can call this a buildable lot. So that remaining land would be here. There's no need for a wetland permit at this time because we're not within the 100-foot buffer. There are wetlands associated. The wetlands kind of go along. You see them. They were marked by soil scientists. So there's a pond on Catherine's lot 2. We showed the soil testing for that. We showed a B100A septic system on lot 2 to prove that if the septic that's there now fails, they could build. as always, I put notes on the plan that if any construction is done, whether it's the B100 years from now or right away or whatever, or if there was a house built here, they would have to get a permit. They have to get approved for a building permit. There is city water on Hattertown Road. The city water comes up to Wintergreen. Ultimately, the city water goes, if you're familiar with the Wintergreen, goes up, goes all the way around. There's all city water on Wintergreen. So any improvements to any new lot here would require the extension of the water line on Hattertown Road. We proposed 2 strips of land on Hattertown Road to accommodate the wider right-of-way for Hattertown Road as required. I believe it's there's 2 strips, and this one on this side is 3,900 square feet, and this one on this side is 2,300 square feet, so or 2,800 square feet. So they're small strips. They're dashed and colored in, called them parcel A and parcel B. Right now, the farm is operating. It pastures beef cattle on the land. They hay the land. Catherine does the flowers as a greenhouse, and she does the flowers. Are well known for their flowers, and she has chickens, ducks, that kind of thing. But the purpose of this was to separate lot 2, so Catherine would have her own lot, her own taxes. Both properties will remain in farm tax. So that'll separate this out so that Catherine will have her own bills. So that's kind of the reason for it. If you could go to the last page. What we're going to show is a blow up of this area. 4. Yeah, 4. Yeah, you can slide. Yeah, that's good. So we did do a detailed drawing with all the proper engineering notes. We have the civil engineer is civil 1. They did the engineering and goes to driveway, house, drainage, septic system in this area. There is an old well on the property that, upon the building permit, that will be abandoned. So this is a more detailed drawing at a 40 scale, which is required. So we did that for you. I think that's about it. If there's any questions, explain.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. We'll see if there are any questions from the commissioners. Any questions, Commissioners Margarino?
So what's the total acreage of the whole parcel?
21.5.
Of all the lots?
All the property, yes.
So it's a family farm?
Family farm.
And they're just trying to divide it amongst themselves?
Yes,
Okay, and everyone's on board?
yes. Everyone's on board. We submitted a signed sheet naming Clint, the applicant, and all the owners signed it, 4 owners. There's Catherine, Clinton, Millicent, and Luis. Millicent and Clinton live adjacent. Millicent lives at 139 Hattertown. Clinton lives at 99. Catherine lives at 83. And Luis lives in Massachusetts.
Thank you.
I have no question.
No questions. It's not gonna affect the existing conservation easement, is it? At all?
What's that?
Existing conservation easement that's on the property. Existing easement?
There is an existing conservation easement that is required for the lot one.
This won't affect any of that?
No.
That's all I want, that's all.
I have no question.
So there's no plan to build at this point?
No.
At all?
No,
Anyone?
they don't want to build anything. As a matter of fact, this configuration may not even be feasible for a future
Right.
development.
Is it considered farm status at this point?
Yes,
Does this change that?
no. They'll have to resubmit because of separate acreages, but Catherine will have to submit for farm tax. And the rest of the family, Catherine's part of just the family too, so they'll have to submit for the remaining land as farmland. That's, from what we hear, it's just a formality of just listing the acreage.
That's it? That's all I have.
No questions.
Okay, anything, Thomas? Anything to add to this? No. All right, good, then, we can close the hearing.
I don't want me to.
Public. It's a subdivision. Oh, it's not a public hearing. Okay.
Ryan, bring it down a little.
Hearing closed. Thank you very much for coming in.
Requirement.
We'll deliberate in a minute.
Ryan, 100% open space and see.
You're gonna vote tonight?
Me too.
In fact, we're gonna let next. This Mike Sergeant Williams over here.
This guy, Ryan wants to run the meeting. Give him the book and the gavel.
Oh, should have read it. All right, deliberations and determinations. We have the two hearings that we just heard. 571, 587 Pepper Street. Start with that one.
I'll tell him for it.
Discussion, that's moving the warehouse over 10 feet to put a walkway in.
Just don't know why we even have to hear it.
Because it's changed.
10 feet small.
Yeah, 10 feet small.
Anybody?
No, we're good. Let's roll it.
I make a motion to approve, what is it?
571, 587.
I make a motion to approve SCP 2021-13-A1, file 1638571 and 587 Pepper Street.
Second. Motion, Mayini, and Ambrosi, second.
I like Westland on the second better than.
Any
Ambrosi.
other discussion? No, all right, I'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
Riley, yes.
Mayne, yes.
Westland, yes.
Okay, the SCP passes. Congratulations, you're not here. All right, second deliberation determination is 83 Haddon Road subdivision. We need a motion for
I
that.
make a motion to approve SUB 2025-08, file 167283 Hattertown Road.
Motion by Mayini.
Second.
Second Westland. Discussion? Is there any discussion here?
Discussion.
No discussion.
No discussion? All right, then we'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Condon, yes?
Ambrosi, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayne, yes.
Westland, yes.
Approved.
There you go.
Passes. Congratulations and thanks for coming in.
Done deal.
Moving along.
Mr. Chair, before we adjourn?
No, we're not adjourning.
We still have
We have a lot of
E&F.
stuff to do.
E&F for the go.
I thought we're.
No, E&F.
Extension.
There's an agenda.
Who has it?
Where's Kathleen? She,
That is a fun. We'll find it for you.
Kathleen will teach you the agenda.
I have.
Where's Tom?
About to leave. I'll have.
Tom scared me.
Dom,
Dom has to leave.
yeah,
Okay.
that's okay. You're allowed.
All right, we have an extension request.
Take Leon with you. Leon has to leave too.
Big mouth over there.
Extension request for excavation fill permit. Do you know the background on this, Bill?
They have a excavation and fill permit, and they're looking to get a 2-year extension to finish out that excavation and fill for 10 and 36 Main Street.
Much more they got to.
And what,
2 more years.
what is this property?
I don't remember this one.
What is this?
Where's this one?
Excavation and fill. This is 10 and 36 Main Street.
It's right when you come into town, right?
Yes, it's it's right past the mixed use was gonna be.
Down there?
Yes, where Vitremont used to be. It's adjacent to Victoria Drive.
How much more fill do they have to bring in there?
I do not know that information.
Yeah, the more the better.
Yeah, it's like.
Bring it up. If they want to keep bringing it up, let them.
Yeah, we gotta fix it.
Still down?
It's still down. It's
I mean, it's a lot better,
It's a lot better. Yeah.
but it's still definitely, Rob's right, it's still definitely down.
All right, so we need a motion.
How long? Years?
Yeah.
We're motioning a lot here today.
You're the only one that has the name.
I will motion again. I don't know where is it? Where is it?
Got it right there.
Make a motion to approve the extension for the excavation and fill permit at 10 and 36 Main Street, Monroe, Connecticut.
Second.
Boy,
Motion
Rob.
by Mayini, you have that second, Westland?
Good.
Rob is doing so
Any further
good.
discussion? All right, we'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Condon, yes?
Ambrosi, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayne, yes.
Westland, yes.
5-0.
Then we have granted the extension.
We're done.
We have meeting minutes,
I didn't know here.
10/16/25.
You can part of
You
it.
need to leave. 10/16/25 meeting minutes that you all have them before you. Chair will entertain a motion to accept the meeting minutes as drafted.
I make a motion to accept the 10-16 meeting minutes as drafted.
All right, I have a motion by Mayini,
Second.
second Westland. Any discussion or changes in the
I was here for part of it, so.
minutes?
No, we're good.
Who's here? Even.
Doesn't matter. Go for, good.
All right,
Skip Leon.
we will go ahead
I was here
and
for part of it.
Since you don't count.
No, this is not.
yeah, we're voting.
Condon, yes.
Ambrosi, yes. O'Reilly, yes.
Yes.
Westland, yes.
It's beautiful. I'm really proud of you guys today.
We have, yes, good. All right, so the motion passes. Meeting minutes 10/16/25 have been accepted. I think we do have a report here, correct?
Chairman's report,
No.
Commissioner's report,
Enforcement actions report.
EO report.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
All right, Thomas.
Well, we've been waiting to hear.
We've been waiting for you, buddy.
All right.
And it's not even too cold today.
Oh, it's not. It feels good now.
Poor guy last time.
This is the enforcement actions report for August through October 2025. We had 2 citation hearings, one for 216 Cutler's Farm Road, one for 604 Main Street. Both citations were upheld by the citation hearing officer. Currently, both properties are in a 90 and 60-day observation period to ensure compliance with zoning regulations. Follow-up hearings will be conducted at the end of the year to finalize the citation process. And as far as enforcement actions are concerned, 92 Millbrook Terrace was sent a request for voluntary compliance regarding outdoor parking of an unregistered vehicle and blight in the form of severely overgrown brush, shrubs, and weeds throughout the front yard and on the front of the house. Property owner had the unregistered vehicle removed and the property remediated with the blight in the form of the overgrown brush and shrubs and landscaping. 16 Pepperidge Road, request for compliance was sent regarding the outdoor parking of multiple unregistered vehicles. Property owner called in, had one of the vehicles removed. One vehicle is going to be registered and they're working on a plan to remove the third and final unregistered vehicle. 77 Bart Road, a request for voluntary compliance was sent regarding the outdoor parking of unregistered vehicles and commercial vehicle parts being stored outside on the property. The daughter of the property owner called in and stated she's going to remove the unregistered vehicles and relocate the commercial vehicle parts so they were not visible on the outside of the property. 184 Twin Brook Terrace, a request for compliance was sent regarding excessive outdoor parking of vehicles, unregistered vehicles parked outside, vehicles parked on the lawn, and blight in the form of junk vehicle parts being stored in the backyard. Property owner called in and said unregistered vehicles and junk vehicle parts would be removed and or screened so would not be visible from the road or neighboring properties. 230 Porter's Hill Road, a notice of violation was sent due to the lack of response to a request for compliance. The violations include outdoor parking of numerous vehicles, unregistered vehicles parked on the property and parked on the curb in the front of the house, a commercial vehicle stored in the front yard, and blight in the form of persistent garbage trash on the property, including a commercial dumpster parked at the end of the driveway. Property owner called in after receiving the notice of violation and said the dumpster would be relocated and vehicles would be relocated or registered. 178 Swenson Drive, a request for compliance was sent regarding overgrown vegetation at the corner of Swenson Drive and Camelot Drive, causing sightline issues. This location is also used as a school bus stop. Property owner has since remedied the issues by trimming the vegetation. 40 Old Coach Road, a request for compliance was sent regarding unpermitted structures on the property, housing horses within a required yard setback. Property owner called in and stated there are currently no horses on the property and only one horse had been there recently for a period of 3 weeks while it was being quarantined. And if the property owner does decide to have horses return, she will relocate the barn so it complies with regulations and will submit an application for zoning compliance. 21 and 31 May Court, a request for compliance was sent regarding severely overgrown vegetation along the shared property lines. Both owners worked together to remediate the issue by cutting and trimming the overgrowth. 4 Easton Road, a cease and correct order was sent regarding blighted premises in the form of junk being stored, seriously damaged or missing siding on an accessory structure, persistent garbage or trash on the property, seriously overgrown brush, shrubs, weed posing a significant public health or safety risk. The property owner has remediated some of the blight. They have fixed the siding on the accessory structure, and they recently submitted an application to the Zoning Board of Appeals regarding the front deck encroaching into required yard setback. The intention is to get the variance approved, then finish working on the building so it can be used as a functioning business. 12 Scenic Road, a request for compliance was sent regarding washout into a catch basin caused by driveway repairs. The property owner has since placed hay bales around the area in question to deter future washout until repairs are complete. 58 Patchogue Trail, a notice of violation was sent regarding the use of recreational vehicles as a dwelling unit and the improper storage of a recreational vehicle. Upon a further investigation, the recreational vehicle has been removed from the property. 58 Hiram Hill Road, a citation of zoning violation was sent regarding unpermitted shipping containers, the outdoor parking of vehicles, and running a courier business from the property without any zoning approval. A citation hearing is scheduled for next week, 11/12. 17 Jenny Ridge Lane, a request for compliance was sent regarding a shed being constructed without zoning approval, a trailer being parked on the road in the cul-de-sac of Topaz Lane, and the storage of a commercial vehicle on the residential property. Property owner came into town hall to speak about the violations. He has relocated the trailer, removed the commercial vehicle, and stated he will be submitting an application for zoning compliance. 83 Bart Road, a cease and correct order was sent regarding unpermitted structures on the property that are housing poultry which violate setbacks. The cease and correct was issued after the property owner failed to contact the planning and zoning department after the request for compliance, and a notice of violation were sent. Property owner has until 11/28 to appeal the order. 201 East Village Road, a notice of violation was sent regarding operating a home-based business without approvals. The business is known as Fairfield Fur Babies. They sell designer dogs online, and according to the website, the business was using the property for visits by appointment only. The tenant called and stated the property in Monroe is only used for administrative reasons sparingly, and that no dogs or puppies are kept on location. And he stated the website using the Monroe address was an error and has since removed the address from the site. The tenant was told to apply for a home occupation permit if he wanted to continue to use the address for administrative purposes. Now to the window sign enforcement. Requests for voluntary compliance were sent to a total of 68 businesses over 3 different days who had potential violations of sign regulations. To date, 39 businesses have responded with the vast majority of them stating they will comply with the request. Some have currently complied, some have said they will comply and have not done so yet. To date, 29 businesses have not responded in any way to the request. Not, like I said, not all businesses who said they would comply have done so. I have 2 letters to read into the record. The first one is from the owner of American Pie, Leo Zico. I am writing you regarding the potential violations of signs in recent inspections. I've been in business for 23 years at American Pie and Chuck's Corner with the same signage on one sign in each window. We have a dual store. We do have Coca-Cola stick-on signs up and 2 banners hang up. I paid $5,000 for those 2 neon signs 23 years ago, and I talked to my sign people, and they have stated taking them down would destroy them, they'll crack, so it does create a hardship for me, not only for visibility to my restaurant, but financially. I'm going to take your advice and go to the meeting on November 7th and voice my concern there as well. Please advise me on anything else we could do to avoid taking the 2 signs down. The second letter is from Paul Turchek. He's the manager of Kindred Spirits and Wine on Main Street. Our 3 signs have been in the windows for quite a few years now with never so much as a hint of complaint or concern. They are not overly bright or blinding. We close at 8 p.m., 6 p.m. on Sundays. When we close, 2 of those 3 lights get turned off. Also, if you have lights in the windows, it brightens up and makes things look alive, vibrant, and active. I can understand spotlights or lights bright enough to cast shadows, but the ones we have are not even remotely close to that. So now I ask what the next step should be as far as enforcement actions are concerned, mainly regarding the businesses who have not responded at all to the initial request for compliance.
I turned to Dom Smergalino on this one. This is exciting.
I think we got to relook at this a little bit.
Well, let's talk about it.
Relook at what? We sat in subdivision.
Yeah, but I think we went after one couple people because they're so bright. But I mean, a lot of these signs have been here. Okay. So, yeah, I'm like with Don, like.
Pizza place has been there 25 years.
Yeah, no, I think we got to really look at it.
What options do we have? I don't really know.
Choose.
You could permit more window signage than just one.
You could change the regulation.
Change the regulation, yeah, you would have to change the regulation, yeah.
No, but I think our main concern was the bright signs. That's what we really went after.
Yeah, it's hard to enforce that though, right?
Yeah.
Like the brightness of the sign.
It would be difficult to gauge the brightness. They're all different, at different heights, different elevations. So it wouldn't be a fair reading to every business in town using one of those devices, I believe. And Kathleen Gallagher feels the same way.
I just think that when you level the playing field and nobody has a sign, then it doesn't become a battle of who signs brighter. And I don't really think that it's helping the people as much as they think they are, my opinion. I think that the people that are going to American Pie pretty much know it's there, and they're planning their night around buying pizza, which we do multiple times a week over there. So the signs really don't change whether I'm going there to eat pizza or not, or take pizza out.
So this is another one I'm torn on because I go to the cigar lounge and they got cited for signs. And when I go there at night, I barely even notice the signs. Right. So like that one was kind of, to me, that was kind of rough.
Again, picking and choosing.
Right. We can't do, I totally agree. We cannot pick and choose. But like when I pulled up to the cigar lounge, they're like, I got this letter. What's going on? And I was like, oh, I didn't even, like, they're barely on. So I didn't even notice.
Well, there it is.
The brightness of it.
It's not probably helping them a whole lot if you're not noticing it, right?
Well, it's just during the day, it's just something they can hang up to say they sell Fuente cigars.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's keeping the lights on after hours, right? Because this really started because some of those smoke shops opened up and they left these things on all night. And it's like, so can we
vape ones and
do a
stuff like
time
that?
on it? Because I'll just say for the purpose of noticing the lights, I've driven down, gone to like maybe go to a restaurant or something and looked and been like, oh, like, without even pulling in and going to a door, just being like, oh, lights are off, like, they're closed, like, it's not lit up. Very much so even the other day.
I mean,
There's no lights on, and then you keep
The
going.
lights are off when the store is closed. What's the problem?
Because the problem is seeing the unsightly sign during the day.
No,
But I don't think they're bright during the
I
day.
thought we were after the ones that were really bright.
At night.
That's why I think we went,
What's the,
we went to
do
take
you have the
care of that.
regulation?
I can pull it up, yeah.
Let's listen, let's hear the regulation.
Maybe we put a time on it.
So what, the next step?
Yeah, but we don't want
is-
noxious signs at all.
All right.
Isn't the issue more at night than it is during the
Oh,
day?
it is.
But the problem is, there's no
Right, so if the store closes at 8 and they shut all their signs off at 8, what's the problem?
Well, the problem is you still don't want a vape sign looking like a carnival when you're driving by.
We don't want like
Not at-
being
Are you
Oscar.
complaining about day or night?
Oh, there, anytime.
But during the day that,
It gets dark at 4:00.
so, I mean,
Could you,
But we can go, but like, what to go with the bound of brightness that are coming off the sign?
I drive through Ridgefield and I look around the town that I think is very nice and I don't see any neon signs.
There's no signs at all.
And the town businesses are doing great. I don't think the signs are attracting a lot of business.
But I think a lot of these people have had these signs for many a year.
Agreed.
And then we just all of a sudden decided that we're going to go after a couple bad apples, which we never had any problems before. And nobody ever complained
true.
about them. And now we can't just go after the people that been having them for.
But when you do make a change, you kind of have to make the change, you know.
Technically,
We never,
equal.
we never,
Signs were
we never said that,
already-
you know, your signs are grandfathered in. We never thought about any of that because we just had to get rid of
Right,
it.
wasn't there always a regulation, no lit signage in the window? I think that's,
you have the regulation, Thomas?
No, like, if
I'm pulling it up,
pull a sign in a window is like, a
looking for the
can't,
specific sign illumination, let's see.
like and don't like, that's the problem.
So we talked about this in some.
Can't do that,
Can't do that.
yeah, we can't say, oh, we just want to get rid of the obnoxious signs, what's obnoxious,
let's
what's
see.
not, that's subjective, yeah.
Let's see what the regulation states.
So the new regulation is,
A new regulation?
it's a new regulation.
Yeah, we created it.
Vote that in.
Was there one before?
but there was one before.
There was one, you want me to read the one before
Yeah.
first?
You
Okay.
guys should.
Because maybe we haven't been enforcing it.
This one has been in effect since I've been here. Let's see, that's at the top.
oh, I thought I was going home soon.
Okay, so all signs not specifically permitted are prohibited. Prohibited signs shall include roadside signs, animated or moving signs, balloon signs, banners or streamers, beacons or searchlights, billboards, festoons, flag signs, inflatable signs, flashing or intermittent signs, including vending machines and those inside a building that are visible from the road, a parking area or adjacent property, roof signs, vehicular signs not used in the normal course of business, signs for an off-premises location.
But I thought,
That's the old.
That's the existing one.
but I thought.
That's the new one.
No, that's the one that's been,
The one that was before this one.
That's there, and then what did we add?
Wait a minute. Stop, everybody.
Sorry.
The one you just read is the previous regulation?
previous one.
Right, now we have the new, can you read the?
Now I'll read the new one, correct. And this came into effect at the end of
But
July.
before we get on to that, why couldn't we go after that one smoke shop that had the lights whipping around the whole building?
I did, I sent them a notice of violation.
Yeah, but there's 20 more of them out.
Weren't we unable to go after that because?
Yeah, that's why I thought it was out. I thought that, no. We talked
Flashing
about
or
it.
We're told because it
intermittent?
didn't say LED that
Right,
we
we
couldn't
couldn't
do
go
anything,
after
our
it.
hands were tied.
But wasn't that flashing? And there was another one you said.
That
in
said
there.
moving, and it was
Yeah,
moving.
flashing
Yeah.
and moving.
Flashing into, yeah,
Yeah.
intermittent signs.
So that guy was in violation
Do
of
an
that.
LED.
Flashing
No,
and moving.
no,
and-
hold on, time
Wait
out.
a minute, let's hear the new
No,
regulation.
he just read the new regulation.
That was the one that has been in
My
existence.
bad, my bad. Can everybody stop?
This is the one that came into effect at the end of July.
Sensitive.
Go ahead.
Internally illuminated signs, flashing signs, LED signs, exposed neon tubing, and bare bulb signs are prohibited within windows, except for one internally illuminated, non-flashing sign not exceeding 24 inches by 18 inches in size.
That's what we all spent.
can you do
was talking about.
Weeks. I wish it was just weeks.
A
Read
month.
that again.
Internally illuminated signs, flashing signs, LED signs, exposed neon tubing, and bare bulb signs are prohibited within windows, except for one internally illuminated, non-flashing sign not exceeding 24 inches by 18 inches in size.
The key word is one, I believe.
Correct.
It was to keep the open signs.
Yeah.
That was the whole purpose. Basically, the idea was no more light up signs, just a sign that's open.
Like, people are saying that they have different signs in there.
Now, we all know where we're standing on this.
I say we bring it back to something.
We can either change the regulation again, that's one option. The other option is to move forward, which is my next question. We sent voluntary compliance requests. Next would be what, a cease and correct order?
It would be a notice of violation.
Notice of violation.
Correct.
What's a cease and correct order?
That's very similar to a notice of violation. It's just more strongly worded.
Okay, so notice of violation would be the next step.
Correct.
When does the citation come in?
After the cease and correct, if they fail to comply,
So that
the
would,
cease and correct.
then that's the next level.
It goes from request for compliance, notice of violation, cease and correct, citation.
So there's 4 steps. We're on the first.
Or something, correct.
So the question is, do we go to the next step or do we revisit this?
Let's take a vote on that.
All right, well, let's talk about it. If we're done talking about it, I mean, it just sounds like,
I say we're gonna revisit it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel like the purpose was to go after some of these businesses, I don't know, like these old businesses that have been like, you know.
That wasn't the purpose, for sure.
Yeah, no, but I feel like I feel like it was an overcorrection, and now we're seeing like, okay, maybe we do need to dial it back.
I want to just relook at it, that's all.
Trying to think of like, you know, like Bill's Light, their sign lights up, right? Their outdoor sign, or used to, like.
I mean, there's others that have come.
Which sign?
There's more.
Did their outdoor sign used to light up, or am I like crazy to think there was a bulb?
I would say crazy. I'd go with
Like that,
crazy.
you know, but like you think of like these older buildings that have had these things, and right, they're not the things we originally thought of and were annoyed by, but
But
now.
technically, they were in violation.
But they were in violation, yeah.
What do you think?
I think we gotta just nip it in the bud and just keep it the way it is. That's my.
Keep it the way it is my thought too. And also, as the town evolves and as we develop and we grow, this is gonna be a bigger and bigger problem.
Right.
So yes, I understand that back in the day when these people had these signs, they worked and hey, come over here for whatever. But now we're starting to see, you know, that little strip of Panera and Starbucks and everything else, and
They don't put
we gotta conform. I feel like we wanna conform and we wanna keep a certain decorum in the town.
You know,
I want to ask Bill, because you deal with economic development and these businesses coming in. Do they question you about signage?
They do.
And what's their questions?
Why now?
What I just said.
Why now? Why is it being enforced now? Why is
What
it
are-
being changed now?
So what are your thoughts?
My thoughts? You know, the town had a reputation when I started working here as we were unfriendly for businesses. And this regulation, in my opinion, is an example of that. It's not what we want to be. I agree with the commission. I agree with the thoughts of the chasing lights around the window. I do believe, to use your term, obnoxious. How do you qualify obnoxious? That's how I qualify it. But when I drive by and I see the liquor store signs that say beer and wine in the liquor store, I don't need a beer and wine sign in a liquor store to tell me they sell beer and wine. But when I drive by the gas station and I see that they have Keno and an ATM machine, that's something I wouldn't necessarily expect at a gas station. And it's something that kind of perks my ears and says, huh, Keno. I know people that play Keno, but they go to various other locations to get their Keno tickets. So I can see how that would drive some of the business. I would prefer to be more business friendly, and light up signs in their window, I don't think is hurting anybody. The obnoxious ones, the chasing lights, the ones that play music, the ones that are just a little bit over the top, yeah, I get it. We should probably limit that. But I also believe that the regulation that Thomas had read that was in place prior to the new regulation that identified those ridiculousnesses of those signs kind of encompasses the bad actors that we were originally trying to eliminate in the first place, and see no reason to have changed this. That's my humble opinion.
okay, thank you.
Do you think like Because we have very few 24-hour businesses, right? Just the Cumbies, I believe, is 24 hours.
Cumbies and I believe Noble Gas.
Penny.
Noble Gas is Henny Penny.
They're 24.
May get more. The question is to whether revisit it or not.
Well, do you think if the businesses that just shut their lights off when they're done for the day,
I think that would be a good solution, you know, have the lights on during the day or during business hours. And when you're closed, there's no need to advertise anything because you can't sell it anyway.
How would you police that, being that the CEO is not working during those hours?
You have to rely on complaints.
That's exactly.
How we would police it now, we don't proactively go out and look
That's
for
why we're sitting here,
problems.
because nothing was done with those existing regulations.
But if there's complaints, we certainly do investigate complaints. So I would wait for the complaints to come in and then investigate that if business XYZ had their lights on during the evening, and then I would go there and I would talk with the owner. And I would say, hey, look, we're not allowed to have our lights on when we're closed. Voluntary compliance, and I would leave that in the hands of our CEO.
Nicole,
I agree with Bill. I think that the previous.
I'm sorry, you what?
I agree with what Bill said. I think the previous regulation
Want to second
covered. I think our previous regulation covered what we're
Not yet.
concerned about.
Right.
But I think it's it was the bright flashing, chasing each other. I just don't understand why we couldn't enforce it with that one place at 25, and then what forced us then to have to make this even more stringent?
There was talk of
Yeah.
LED not being written into the,
Yeah, something like that. that we
LED part, but
could-
not,
it said running lights.
and then I just don't know how we got to Ryan's point, we got to only one sign. I think we overcorrected.
Okay.
I agree with Ryan on that.
Sounds like we're heading towards going back.
I think there's a medium ground we can probably find to be
I-
business friendly and community friendly, as Rob said.
I think it's difficult, right? Because I 100% agree with Rob that some of these lights are obnoxious. And that's why I asked Bill what his opinion was, because he deals with this constantly. And I think there is a happy medium. I definitely agree with Nicole. I definitely think we overcorrected. And I think, like, just for an example, going to the cigar lounge, like, their lights are not bright, but they have two or three signs in there. I don't even think they turn them on, but they have signs in the windows. And then, you know, like, that was just too much. I think that was too much. But I do agree with Rob. Some of those things were a lot.
Well,
No, they were horrible.
They were a lot.
Airplane at that one.
Actually, it being dark at 4:30, people driving around in the evening.
It's just not a good look.
All right, Thomas, what I'm hearing is the consensus is to hold off on the letters of violation. We'll go back to the subcommittee to see if we want to tweak the,
Do we want to hold off on the ones that are like?
well, we're not sending letters
Crazy
of
ones?
violations.
Well, we're not going to send out any more letters.
Right.
I think all the letters were
No,
sent
the
out.
next level, we're not going to step it up until we go back to the subcommittee and maybe polish it off a little bit.
You know, even if you get any bad apples you get, is going to do in this town, they're going to do it no matter what. So, you know, you always have good people that try.
Try to arm the CEO with the tools he needs to stop.
That's what I'm saying, but I thought by what he just read, I thought that he should be able to get rid of that last guy without a doubt.
The first go around.
Yeah.
Right, hold on a second. So, what, are there signs, the original statute, whatever you want to call it? There are signs now that are in violation of that, like before we changed it. Those, I think you should pursue. Because there are some of those crazy signs still going on that haven't gotten back to you, right?
You're speaking of the animated or moving signs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those businesses have not got back to me.
Right, like, we're not gonna allow
We
that,
should go after those.
right?
Did we eliminate the previous from the regulations, or is that still in there and then we added?
You just added.
Yeah,
Let's get rid of the ones that were
I
really.
think going after maybe just the direction of go after the.
Let's not
while we
push on the other one
reevaluate.
until we revisit this. That's why I look at it.
It's definitely, I mean, from what I'm hearing, it's definitely a consensus that those animated ones, the running light ones, like that, no matter what, that's going to be, we're going to attack that one no matter what. So I think when you go to your next level, I think
Send it to them,
send it to them.
the notice of violations.
But some of
not
these
the
guys that
others.
have, you know, ones that you would even be like, all right, you know what I mean? Let's,
And then we'll have to have another meeting to,
For subcommittee.
how does that sound, Bill?
That sounds good.
That sounds good to me.
Thank you.
Okay with that?
I second that.
All right, great. Then I don't think.
Bill wants to talk again.
Do you have anything else?
I just asked for a vote to be taken on the extension request for 1536 and 1564 Monroe Turnpike. Attorney Russo put in a extension request to extend our timeline past that 35 days. We didn't deliberate on it, nor did we vote on it. And I just want the record to be clean to make sure that we can pursue or not pursue based on.
That's the activation, Phil.
No, that is 1536 and 1564. They're giving us an additional 14 days to November 20th for us to get our hydrological report. And that's the extension request that came in today.
I make a motion to approve the extension for 1536 and 1564 Monroe Turnpike.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on that?
You will reach out to them if they need to give us another one.
Yes, I will, of course.
Call the roll.
Sonny, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayini, yes.
Westland, yes.
I think you're on this one, Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole, yeah.
Nico, yes.
5-0, beautiful, thank you.
All right. Do we have anything else? Anyone else, commissioners, or you guys would like to bring up? If not, then we'll give in a couple of weeks.
Motion to adjourn?
And second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed.
And that was-
Adjourned at 8:36.
Yep.